Have you ever looked at someone and thought you knew their story, only to realize later how wrong you were? Picture this: a high-end salon in the heart of the city, where every detail screams luxury. The floors gleam like polished mirrors, the scent of high-end products hangs in the air, and the soft hum of conversation is almost melodic. The clients, immaculately dressed, sit under the hands of stylists who craft perfection. It's a place where appearances matter, where the wealthy and influential come to be seen and pampered. Now imagine the scene shifting. The door swings open and a man steps in. His presence is immediately out of place. He's dressed in worn clothes, wrinkled shirt, loose-fitting jeans, scuffed shoes. His hair is messy, a bit wild, and his face is shadowed with unkempt scruff. Heads turn, eyes scan him from top to bottom, and you can almost hear the unspoken thoughts. Does he belong here? Did he wander in by mistake? What would you do in that moment? Would you smile politely, pretending not to notice? Or would you let your assumptions take over, quietly judging from afar? Before we unravel what happened next, take a moment to subscribe to Timeless Stories. This is where you'll find tales that challenge your perspective, stories of kindness, humility, and understanding, stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark. If you're ready for more, don't miss a single episode. Now back to our story. The man approaches the receptionist, who seems momentarily caught off guard. She recovers quickly, her professional smile returning, but there's an unmistakable hesitation in her tone. "Good afternoon," she says. "How can I help you?" The man responds calmly, his voice low but steady. "I'd like a haircut and beard trim." The receptionist hesitates, her eyes flickering across his appearance. "Our prices," she begins delicately, "are a bit premium." It's the kind of statement wrapped in politeness but laced with meaning. "Are you sure you're in the right place?" The man doesn't flinch. He smiles faintly, nodding. "That's fine," he says simply. Reluctantly, she signals for one of the stylists, who approaches with a similarly hesitant air. The stylist's body language screams uncertainty, stiff shoulders, careful movements, as if unsure how to handle the situation. But she leads him to a chair and begins her work. As the stylist snips and trims, the man remains calm, his demeanor almost serene. He doesn't seem to notice, or perhaps chooses to ignore, the sideways glances from other clients. The soft hum of gossip rises like a faint buzz in the room. "Does he even know where he is?" one client whispers to another. "He probably can't afford this place," another murmurs, her words barely audible but no less cutting. The stylist works meticulously, her confidence growing as the man responds kindly to her questions about his preferences. Slowly but surely, his disheveled appearance begins to change. The unruly hair is shaped into a sleek, sophisticated cut. The scruffy beard is trimmed to reveal sharp, defined features. With each snip, the transformation becomes more pronounced, and the murmurs begin to quiet. Then something remarkable happens. One of the clients sitting nearby suddenly gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. Her wide eyes are fixed on the man in the chair. She leans toward her friend and whispers something urgently. Another client notices and follows her gaze, her expression shifting from curiosity to disbelief. The realization spreads like wildfire through the salon. By the time the stylist finishes her work and steps back to admire the transformation, there's no doubt left in anyone's mind. Sitting in the chair, looking every bit the icon he is Keanu Reeves. The room falls into a stunned silence. The whispers stop, replaced by an air of stunned awe. This man, who had walked in so unassumingly, could have arrived with an entourage. He could have demanded VIP treatment or reserved the entire salon for himself. But instead, he came alone, dressed humbly, quietly taking his place like any other customer. Keanu rises from the chair and thanks the stylist. His voice is calm and grounded as when he first entered. He heads to the receptionist, pulls out his wallet, and pays without hesitation, leaving a generous tip. Then, with a polite nod and a warm smile, he leaves, the door closing softly behind him. For a moment, the salon remains eerily quiet, the weight of what just happened settling over the room. The clients who had been so quick to judge now look sheepish, their earlier comments echoing uncomfortably in their minds. It's a moment that leaves an indelible mark, a moment that challenges the way we see and treat others. How often do we judge someone based on their appearance, their clothes, their demeanor? How often do we let our assumptions cloud our interactions, failing to see the person beyond the surface? This story isn't just about a famous actor showing humility. It's about the lessons we can learn from his actions. Keanu didn't demand recognition or special treatment. He didn't let his fame define his approach to others. Instead, he embodied grace, humility, and an unspoken challenge to the rest of us. To look beyond the surface and treat every person with respect and kindness, no matter who they are or how they present themselves. If this story moved you, take a moment to reflect. Would you have reacted differently if you'd been in that salon? What assumptions do you make about people in your everyday life, and how can you challenge yourself to see beyond them? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so share them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Stories. These are the tales that inspire us to be better, to see the world differently, and to carry those lessons forward. Today, as you go about your life, remember this story. Remember that every person you meet has a story you don't know, a depth you might not see at first glance. Treat them with kindness, not because they might be famous or important, but because it's the right thing to do. And if this story touched your heart, consider spreading kindness in your own way. A smile, a kind word, or a small gesture can ripple farther than you imagine. After all, the world needs more moments like the one Keanu created in that salon. A simple yet profound reminder of the power of humility, grace, and looking beyond the surface.